Obama truth. Integrity number 2, loyalty. You know, it's a funny thing about loyalty, but what we perceive isn't always what's happening. There's a saying that they use, I guess, in politics, which is, throw them under the bus. So when we look at some of the disloyalties of Obama on the surface, it's pretty disturbing. To throw the grandmother under the bus by dismissing her as a typical white woman in her reactions to seeing black people, I think that is throwing under the bus and a disloyalty, because it's using her to make a point about the, let's just say, the black liberation philosophy which he holds, and also, and again, not putting that down, I'm just putting it in context, but this is the person who today he's going to Hawaii to see because she's deathly ill, and yet she's been used in the campaign as really a doormat to say that the way white people think about black people has something to do with his grandmother, and I wonder how she felt about that. The issue of race is something else, and we can talk about that at a different time. But Tony Rezko comes to mind. Here's a fellow who he lived next to. It's his next door neighbor. It's his friend who conceivably helped him get that house or part of the property, or they went in together. And Tony Rezko goes to jail, but Obama says it's not the man he used to know. He says that a lot about a lot of people. He says Reverend Wright wasn't the fellow he used to know. He says, I couldn't leave the church. This fellow's like family to me. And the next week he does, for expediency. Now what's interesting is, you know, McCain said, this is off topic a little, but it'll come back around, the fundamentals of the economy are strong. Then when he heard that Obama had mocked him, I don't know why he did this, he changed. As I said in an earlier tape, the fundamentals of the economy are strong. Capitalism, hard work, creativity, that's strong in this nation. And he should have stuck with it. And Obama had a chance also to stick with Rezko through thick and thin. Of course, who wants to be involved with a felon? But the practicality of it doesn't disconnect from the reality that it is disloyalty. And we know all's fair in fraud, but what we're really saying is Obama had to disconnect himself from a fraud. With Wright, he disconnected himself for the political expediency after saying he was family. And there are other instances of Obama throwing people under the bus, under the cab, under the rickshaw, whatever it is that they're being thrown under. We hear about, for example, Jim Johnson was supposed to vet the vice president, and somehow or other he was disinterred. We don't know exactly where he went. And Jesse Jackson was cut loose by the Obama campaign and his son earlier in the year for Jackson's remark about wanting to do something with Obama's private parts. And as we spoke of, Jackson made that remark about Israel and Zionism, and Obama basically wants nothing to do with them now, even though this is the great civil rights leader, or one of them, who marched with Martin Luther King. I reckon if Joe Biden was dispensable, he'd probably get rid of him too, but he uses the words rhetorical flourish about Biden's remarks about an international incident, which I talked about in another recording. A rhetorical flourish is like another way of saying, I wish he would just shut up, or I wish I could get rid of him. So this sort of disloyalty, it even carries over into the constituency. Like we said in the last recording, FISA went against the better nature of one segment of his constituency, and even himself, to vote for the FISA, or to make remarks about the gun ban in Washington, D.C. Even to publicly say, I'm for the Second Amendment, that sort of ticks off more of his people. Of course, now, if we say, what does all this mean? This disloyalty and these fibs, lies, flip-flops, whatever you want to call them, they are flipping in position. And again, we're not saying McCain never evolved or flipped or anything. We're saying, what does it mean for Obama? We can't just say that that it's okay because the other guy's doing it. Because if the one guy holds himself to a higher standard and doesn't do it, that's worse. And the disloyalty is there too. To the family, to the church, to the friend, to the constituency, to the political allies. So whenever it's expedient and people find themselves on the other side of the door with Obama, I just wonder, in a presidency, how is that going to work? Is that part of diplomacy? Is that part of fooling the people? We don't want to be fooled. We don't want to be told that there's going to be party unity. There is not party unity. 25% or so of Clinton supporters will not vote for Obama no matter what, and will probably vote for McCain. There's not really a reaching across the aisle because Republicans are being alienated by the skyscraper, which is Obama, by bloggers and these grassroots organizations, even the media, which is all part of the Obama skyscraper. What exactly is the loyalty we can look forward to, whether or not we support Obama? Assuming he wins the presidency as an American, what can we expect from him as a president? Will he keep his promises? Is he who he says he is? What is the loyalty? Where do they lie? They don't seem to lie firmly in anything. Firmly. So we can see, even though he went to Hawaii to see his grandmother, we also know that he disrespected her. Which kind of even goes back to his mother, that he didn't rush right to her side. And I don't want to cast aspersions on the family, just the idea of how close are his relations, how cold and calculating is he, where is the warmth, does he have it? A lot of people say that he doesn't. I guess that's a wait and see, but that's a dangerous wait and see.